as for North America, there's really a handful of teams that you could see really making some upsets. Atlanta Reign, you've got the LA Valiant, who've had a really impressive showing, and the Dallas Fuel, who've had sort of sparks of brilliance. Who do you guys have for each of these regions for being dark horse picks that you could see going all the way to the finals? If the stars align for them.
So I'm gonna go first here, and I'm gonna say for Asia, since we were just talking about it, we're gonna keep. I guess we'll keep it there. I think
Sure.
Spark are gonna be my dark horse team, just because even though they might not have Gushue, because if they do, I think you could make an argument for top three. But it's
Yeah.
really not looking great for his ability to actually play this weekend. So I'm not really gonna bank on that. But still, they have a solid roster. They signed Architect,
Yeah.
absolutely disgusting flex DPS. Look, like no knock on Adora, but like he really wasn't doing it for this team, and I think this is still a difference maker. And if the stars align for them, I could see Hangzhou being that team.
I completely agree. So I'll take a little bit of a different approach, only because I don't want to just repeat what Beatdown said. But uh,
Hey,
if
you
Gushue
can.
can
It's
play,
right.
yeah, if Gushue can play, I actually do think that this is a top three team. I would have actually bumped out Soul, put the Hanjo Spark in there, and then used Soul as my dark horse. Would have been a way better take. But unfortunately, there's just a little bit of uncertainty, and I don't think anything's confirmed. I've just heard stuff that's a possibility. If he can play, I think their Echo Dive is going to be insane, especially with Architect on that team.
Disgusting.
And Godspeed, it's
Disgusting.
going to be unreal. So
Disgusting.
if they can play, by all means, I think the Spark are not even a dark horse team. I think they deserve to be in that conversation as a top 4, top 3 team in the Asia division. Now, assuming they can't, I honestly at this point I gotta take the Hunters for the dark horse team, only because I think Echo Dive is just such, because there's no hero pools, which AKA kind of means like the first iteration of that hero pool, as Beatdown was saying earlier. You're going to see a lot of chaos, and I think no team thrives in chaos better than the Hunters. They actually look, because not only did they beat the Seoul Dynasty 3-0, they also then went and played the Guangzhou Charge and just barely lost 3-2 to them.
Yeah, that
Like
was crazy.
they played the Charge, and they played I was watching the game. I stayed up late. They played them really close. It was a really good game. I think the Echo really suits that lineup really well because it just allows for chaos, and they just thrive under that chaos. And A-Main is actually starting to play some pretty decent main tank. He's playing the Monkey now. He's playing the Reinhardt, as well as his ball obviously being elite. So with that out of the way, we might as well move into the North American region, of which I have an interesting, at this point, the dark horse team I really think is the LA Gladiators. I think this is a team that when the meta works for them, they really are a top 5 team in this league, or at the very least in that sort of like conversation. We had spoken about this last week about the potential of them being that top 5 team. I think they had a bad week in terms of the meta, a bad read on the meta, and they played against a Boston team who, let's just be frank, looked really good, especially with Punk in the lineup. I know it's hard to argue the Gladiators as a dark horse team when they just lost to the Boston Uprising, but I still love that team on paper. And especially if Miro and Jaru can play heroes they're comfortable on, then this team looks a lot good, because that's obviously the clear weakness in this lineup. I think their tank line and their support lines are so good that if they get the right lineup and they can figure out how to make that team work, which they can because there's no hero pools, so you can put them on heroes they're good at, I think this is a team that can surprise a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm gonna make this one quick because we're running a little bit long. But the reason I don't really agree with that is the Chengdu Hunters historically have just been a team with, yeah, they can upset people. They could quite literally upset anybody because of the aforementioned chaos. But here's the thing, Spencer, they always do it in one-offs. It's never consistent enough that they could ever win any sort of bracket style tournament, any matches in rapid succession, especially with what we've seen from them from this season. So I don't see it.
All right, and what do you think about North America?
Who's your dark horse?
North American dark horse. Honestly, I think it would be unfair to say anybody other than Paris, just because I think outside of the 3 that I mentioned, there's really nobody else in the conversation right now. Obviously, we talked about it before the show too. Just there's like 4 or 5 teams in NA that are pretty good, and then the rest, it's just the huge drop off. It's not even worth mentioning.
Well, all right. We are going to keep a close eye on this Mei Melee and see how the bracket shakes out. But it's definitely very exciting, and there's a lot to keep in mind as we go into this tournament. So I guess we'll see how it pans out, but we can't wait to find out. Cool. How long did that run?
No,
Thanks for watching Meta Mentality. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe and follow us on social media. Find out where to follow us in the links below.